There's Doe. All right. We will get started here. And I want to welcome everybody to the July live event. This will be the last live event that before BronyCon. The next live event will be live from BronyCon with the assistance of Larsis, and we want to all thank him for that. As those of you that have been around know, I'm Ansel, and with me today, of course, is Crystal.
Hello.
And more importantly, with us today are four artists, many of whose work you've seen around Q&B, but they're so much more than that. And they have graciously agreed to come here, stand in front of y'all, and take your horrid questions. So with us today are in, I guess, just down the line here, even though we have an order that we have set, is A Cat's Blep, also known as Rosby. We also have
Hi.
Doe Kitty.
Hello.
And Painted Wave, or Nalu.
Hi.
And we have Rami.
I'll say hi for her too.
Okay.
Oh, wait, she unmuted.
Rami's unmuted now. Okay, maybe not.
Technical difficulties.
We will get Rami fixed. It's okay. No worries. Okay. So what we've done today is we've taken lots and lots of questions from you all, and we, in the thread and in the channel here, which we do appreciate. And since we have, all four of them, we're going to kind of keep it orderly, and Crystal and I aren't going to ramble on for hours, so that will be better. We're going to get Rami set up here, and we will get started once we can get her good to go. Okay. All right. We will slight technical difficulties. What's the order again? Someone post the order in the super secret artist today safety channel.
It's in the description, dear.
Well, excuse me. Okay, so starting with A Cat's Blep.
It's a blip.
Bleh. It's French. All right, so Rosby, my friend,
Yes.
You are a family member, a hot body. You are a artist. You are a meteorologist, and you are also a character. All that is true, right?
Unless the drugs have been lying, yes.
Unless they've been lying. Fair enough. So why don't you go ahead and we'll start off with, a couple of the basics. And, I think yours is going to be the most interesting for this. So how did you not, we'll start, I'm not going to follow the order. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Do what you do, boo.
Do what you want.
Okay. So because I think this is the most interesting for you, how did you get started into pony art? Not art yet. I do want to ask that question, but I think yours is the funniest story of how you got started into pony art. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
So, way back several years ago, I came to visit this place in North Carolina because there is a family person here. And this family person, one night, revealed that she was secretly writing words for this children's show involving magical talking ponies. And I supported her. And then she revealed what was actually going on. And then this happened. And then I offered. And so I don't actually know if... Whoops.
Yes. And so, just so everyone's clear, how many episodes have you actually seen?
I have seen... Ooh. No, because we watched one full episode.
Okay.
When I was over. I've seen all of Witchcraft is... No, wait. Friendship is Witchcraft. I've seen all of those. That has to count.
It does. That's actually pretty close to the real show. So yeah. So the favorite thing is Rosby does so much art for us, and so much has been a big part of this because he's our fan and we love him. But so I found that interesting. So Nalu, you are the second victim. How did you get to the pony?
This might sound like a little bit of a cop-out, but I honestly don't remember What I do remember very much, though, is absolutely despising the flood of like fan characters and fan art for this show, because I loved the original, and I was very skeptical of how good the new show was going to be. So I took my time in actually giving it a fair shake. But once I did, that's kind of when I started experimenting, trying to make my own, like, I guess, style in the fandom. And I think that's been about 2-3 years, maybe a little more than that now, ago.
I guess it'd have to be because I think we've been associated since like 2014, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. So yeah, my intro to pony art was pretty mundane.
Fair enough. And Rami?
Hey there. Well, yes, I'm Romy. Am I? Does everybody hear me or?
Yes. No,
Yes,
you're
you are
good.
transmitting.
You are
I can hear your
transmitting.
burbs.
And the burbs.
Sorry about those. Well, yeah, I've been with Q and Quillenblade for about, I think, a year now, and I've been doing sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
No, it's okay.
I've been doing character portraits.
Girl, me too. Holy shit.
This is going great already. But yeah, I've illustrated a bunch of characters for Quill and Blade. That's yeah.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I love your birds. If
I know.
if they were on speaker, our bird would probably get upset.
Yeah, they you'll probably hear them more this evening.
That's okay. They're welcome here too. All birds are welcome, except for Mango, who's not in the office right now.
Good riddance.
Oh.
And yeah,
I'll go get her.
No.
parakeets indeed.
Yes. I'll be right back. Y'all continue.
Okay. And Dokiri, how did you get into the ponies?
Well, before My Little Pony Friendship is Magic even came out, I've been drawing, like warrior cats and personas and other kinds of cartoony things. And then my friends showed me the show, and my immediate thought was that the art style was so adorable and I needed to draw it. So I just started drawing some, and for a while I didn't draw any after that. And then I think in this past year or so, I got a little more serious about drawing pony art as opposed to what I did before. And now that's pretty much what I mostly do now.
Okay, that's very interesting. So this is the question before we have a couple more of these like kind of boilerplates before we get to the questions that our fans and stuff asked. This one's I'm always interested in. So again, we'll go through the same, starting with Rosby. Not pony art, just art in general. So I know there's a lot of folks that are interested, in becoming artists, and when they look at artists like the four of you, they say, "Wow, okay, this person is just far ahead of me." Even though I'm sure, as I've worked with all of y'all, I know artists that you all tend to hate yourselves or hate your art. I don't know why, but there are plenty of people that look up to you and say, "Wow, I wish I could be there." So the question for this is, how did you get started in art? Did you have training, or is it literally just I practiced every day, I traced? Rosby, how do you, starting with you, how do you get into art? How did you start, and how did you get to the level of skill that you are today?
So, little known secret, I actually got into art out of complete and utter spite. So, in second grade, I got accused of tracing, which, mind, I did because it's second grade. But I was like, fine, I'll show you people. And so I started drawing crap. And by crap, I mean legitimate crap, because that was at the beginning of my weeaboo phase. And it was very embarrassing. And I threw out so many pictures that I, for some reason, saved from that era. It was really bad. And then essentially it got to just drawing every day and getting in trouble in class because I was drawing every day. And then this happened. So yeah.
That's fair. Nalu?
You guys remember those like giant, massive, like inch diameter Crayola crayons that they make for like little kids?
Yes.
When I was 3, I started playing with those, and it turned into a massive, lifelong addiction that I haven't quite gotten over yet.
And Rami? Uh-oh.
Sorry?
Oh, there you go. How did
Yeah.
you get in? How did you get started in art?
Oh God. It all started when I was no, just kidding. Well, my family, mostly my mother and my grandmother, etc., were all really into art. So I actually got it with me from a very young age. But aside from that, I actually seriously started drawing around 12, 13. And then I had my delighted tracing over spirit art period, which was, of course, my creative high point of my career. But yeah, from there on, I started seeing that it wasn't really fair, and I really wanted to make my own work and wanted to be proud of things I made myself. So I started working more and more to make my art more and more me. So eventually that kind of happened, and now we're here.
All right. And Dope Kitty, how about you? How did you get started in art?
Honestly, I don't really know. I think I've always just kind of been a doodler. Like, I just would draw stuff, but I never really took it seriously for the longest time until me and my cousin, when we were like maybe like 9 or something, just started drawing together all the time and making up characters. And whenever we would hang out, my cousin's pretty much exactly the same age as I, and we live really close, so we were always hanging out. We would just draw the whole time and have our own little sketchbooks and practice drawing together. And then it just kind of stuck, and I kept drawing more and more. I started with drawing dragons, and then into mainly warrior cats, and then from there into other like cartoon animals and stuff. And then with the introduction of My Little Pony, I started doing that. Nothing really spectacular. I just kind of doodled, and then it started getting serious.
I think all of you are adorable.
Me too. So it sounds like everybody just had a passion and lots of practice. All right, honey?
So there are 2 things that I really think a lot of people here and anyone who listens later would be very interested in getting y'all's opinion on. The first one is, do you have any advice for people who have their character that they've written about or that they just made up and love, but they don't have any references for it yet? It's the first picture. What would you say that they could do to make it easier for you, et cetera, et cetera? Rosby?
I would probably, oh goodness gracious. Probably just give a nice paragraph of information, I guess, maybe. I actually don't have that much stuff that I've done with this, so. Oh, no, I know. Try to find like images that you might have drawn inspiration from, like other characters, that makes it easier, and it makes it easier to get it what you want it to be. That was a bit muddled, but there you go.
No, I think that's great. What about you, Nalu?
If it's specifically a pony character, I usually just point people towards like General Zoya's Pony Maker. So that like gives you the ability to tool around with different body types and sizes and shapes and colors. And if you find something that's close but doesn't quite fit, you can absolutely like add a written description to go along with it to kind of flesh it out a bit more than just like a normal Pony Maker flash thing looks like. I found it's actually worked pretty well for a lot of folks so far. So I would say maybe give yourself the ability to do like a visual like that, and that might even help you narrow things down a bit more for you during the process too.
Yeah, for folks who don't know of it, that pony creator is awesome. There's also like a My Little Pony branded Hasbro thingy pony creator that's pretty cool too, because it's got different styles, but it's very limited on colors. But for hairstyles and stuff, pretty handy stuff. Rami, do you have any advice you'd give someone giving you a character that they don't have a reference for?
Yeah, well, actually, I've had this quite a few times. So in the way that people have sent me those things, I have gained some tips and tricks I can tell them. First of all, I just tell them not to just tell me about the character itself, because that's very important, but I mostly want to know, how do you feel about the character? What should the character radiate in a way? Is it is it an independent character? Is it a cute, fluffy character? It's really important when you're drawing a reference that you can see, look at it, and immediately guess like, oh, it's that kind of character. Aside from that, what I usually really like is when I ask people, okay, so you want a blue character. Could you maybe give me an example what kind of blues you like? So send me maybe a color palette, or could you maybe send me a picture, or just a random reference. Even it could even be a tree or something. Just send me something that gives me the feeling that you want to create with the character you're making. And until now, that has always really helped me. Just the only thing that really could go wrong in those moments is that you don't describe the look. If you just go up to an artist and say, yeah, my character is called Sunny Day and it's white and it's cute, make something, then yeah, what am I supposed to do with that? Don't be afraid to tell me about your character. I want to know about your character because I want to portray it right. So that's all I can say about it.
I think that's really perfect because yes, we have had to do that a lot with the character boards as we've been working with you on.
I also just like the idea of someone coming up like, I want a blue pony and it's cute. Go.
Then they just give you Azurite.
Nice.
There you go.
What about you, Doe?
Everyone else pretty much covered it. Yeah, I'd basically say exactly the same things. Use a pony creator, that helps a lot. If there's certain hairstyles maybe that the creator doesn't have, find something that's close and then maybe describe how you'd want it to be altered from that. Providing, color palettes and examples of the exact color you want instead of saying, I want a blue pony. It's like, okay, do you want it dark blue, sky blue, royal blue? What kind of blue? All of them, or like just blue? So just giving an exact sample of the colors you want helps a lot. And then of course, describing how the character is, how they should be portrayed, anything like that. And even, if it's a character you're writing about, even little snippets of stories with that character in it could help as well to give a better sense of the character that you're drawing.
Yeah, I've done that before where I'm like, yeah, here's the character and I don't really know how to describe them, but this is how they were in a scene. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that works for artists and isn't annoying. Another thing that I think, because we have a fair amount of writers here that can and has come up before, is cover art, because that's like for a writer, like that's your piece de resistance. That's like what people are going to see and what they're going to judge your story by. Even if you have a great description, people are going to look at that. So if someone came to you and was like, I've got this story and I want cover art for it, what can they do? Because that's kind of that's a special type of commission. What do you think, Rosby? Because you've done cover art for me before.
Probably without like just being given the story and told, here you go, read it. Like a good idea of just what the story is about. I've generally found that most people, either they have a very specific, which isn't story related, but they already have a very specific, so that's usually pretty simple to do, or they have a very specific scene. If you just share the scene, like at least share the scene, explain why it's important and context and stuff, and going from there is not a bad start.
Yeah. Nalu? Because you have also done cover art for us.
What I usually look for is give me a summary of the story. Tell me some of the high points. Tell me some of the low points, some of the interesting bits. What kind of feeling do you want the cover to evoke in people when they see it for the first time? Stuff like that. And do you have a color scheme you want to work with? And I mean, it helps a lot more if I've actually read the story, but sometimes I'm a slow reader, so I don't have time to read like cover to cover. So hearing from the author directly what things they feel are the most important to be portrayed behind the title is like especially helpful.
So you're saying, hey, to note to people, writers listening, don't expect the author to read your story. They have a life too. I mean, don't expect the author, the artist.
Don't read your.
We can
You heard
edit
it here
that.
you heard it here from Crystal Wishes. Don't read your own stories.
No, we can edit that out. It's fine. It's fine.
Tiny SK hanging himself, yes.
I can't believe that you two have concocted that.
More than once.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You know what? That's it. You're done. Get off the mic.
Rip.
Rami.
Oh my god, I didn't see if I printed the right one. I gotta go check.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. Yes. No. Babe. Of course, I had it print the right one for you. Okay.
Oh.
Are you sure?
I love you that much. Yes. I selected the other one, and I was like, no, I'll print the one that has the picture of Tiny's Silent Night hanging himself in the corner.
Yeah.
That's true love, is when you let your husband print Tiny. Yeah. Anyway, not that anyone listening is going to understand that. Rami, have
they
you,
will.
out of curiosity, has anyone propositioned you for cover art?
Well, actually, I've had now directly not really, but I do have one of my commissioners that is wanting to have a cover art of me, and they do have a spot reserved currently, so maybe. But all I can say, like with the cover art, it's actually exactly the same for the characters. It's just give me a clear sense of the feeling you're trying to portray with the cover. What kind of story do you make? What kind of characters are on there? Could you maybe send me little parts of your story? Not like the entire story, like Nala said, I do have a life as well. But just send me small parts that you think really portray your characters very well, and the things you want on the front of your comic or your story, whatever. So it's actually just the same. Just be very clear to your artist and don't expect that they'll read your mind or your entire book.
Yeah. As much as everyone loves your story, no. And last but certainly not least, Doe, has this come up for you, and do you have any advice?
Well, for cover art, I mostly think of it as a detailed illustration. I mean, of course, there's other kinds of cover art. There's one that maybe shows more of the characters, and others show just a very specific scene. And it really helps, like everyone said, to give a little snippet of the story. Like I said, it's like an illustration of the story for me. So if I read the story and I can kind of imagine it in my head, that's kind of what the cover art might end up turning out as, what I see when I read the story. And if there's any specifics or anything, of course, those should be described and anything like that, and tell a summary of the story. If it's more of a not like a scene as the cover art, and pretty much what everyone else has been saying, honestly.
I think you are all wonderful.
Yes. But and again, the big point to reiterate here is, please don't expect an artist to read your entire story. You need to convey to them what you want. Excellent.
And also, don't expect an artist to read your mind. If you don't tell them, they won't know.
That's right.
Preach.
Can you imagine being the person that was commissioned to do like the cover art of War and Peace?
Fuck.
All right. Okay, so we are going to tentatively turn to our fan-asked questions. And we have a lot of these.
So excited.
Yes, there's a lot of these, so we may have to skip around a little bit.
Woo!
That could kind of... Okay. So this one's dangerous, but I think it will be fun. So let's I'll ask this question because it's a Rozzy one. So without using any names or super specifics, just generalities, what is your funnest story about like an awful commissioner so that you could use this as a moral tale from others to learn from? Starting with Rosby, who basically asked the question to himself.
I didn't. Wait, did I really?
Yes, this is your question to yourself.
Oh, I didn't. Well, whoops. I probably meant it to be towards everyone.
Well,
Whoops.
yes, we're going to ask everyone, but you're the first in the order.
I think
No names.
my
Don't tell them about me.
favorite. You're okay.
Wow! I'm okay.
Oh my God.
I'll take it.
You're not this person. So there was this one commission, and I've actually shared it with some of y'all, so you get to hear it again. And they were like, hey, can you draw this character? I was like, sure. Here's the reference for it. And it's a character that is, her hair is one color, her skin is the same color, her
Oh, God.
eyes are the same color, her clothing is the same color. She is a singular color personified as a creature. And so I was drawing it, and I was like, it's really boring. I'm going to change the color, and we'll add another layer to darken the hair and eyes so it's not just a single color. And so I spent all this stuff trying to make it look different, and I sent it in, and they basically sent back this email that said, she's supposed to be. And so I removed all the other layers, and I sent this plain, ugly-looking black creature, and they said, thanks, and I will never forget it. It makes me angry thinking about it.
The worst part, I think, is that it wasn't even a commission, it was an art trade.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my
This
God.
is true. It was an art trade, which I do like. I approve of those, but come on, dude. Really?
All right, Nalu. So the moral of that story is, one, if you're getting something for free, don't be an ass about it. And
Mhm.
two, maybe have more than one color. And if an artist takes the time to try to help you out, maybe don't be an ass.
Well, okay.
I know.
Friendlier way to put that.
No.
No. Understand that overall, artists have their own styles and interpretations, and unless it's completely different, like you gave a cat character and it came out as a panda, just artists aren't going to do, they're not a tool for you to use.
That is true.
Okay, Nalu.
Nalu.
This is actually a question I've been thinking about for a while, and it's my reply to it is a little on the long side, but I've actually written down my thoughts so that I don't end up going rambly if nobody minds.
Go for it. Yes.
Okay, so first and most memorable problem client situation that I've ever had was when I was still kind of new to taking commissions. It was also back when I was doing traditional media, which I don't know if anyone's been to an art store in the last 10 years, that shit can get really pricey. A friend of mine that I'd known for a good long time, long enough that they'd seen my art style develop and improve over time, they approached me with a project they wanted to have done. They wanted me to draw their tabletop character, which was a werewolf. Around the time, like pretty much all of my commission clients came from the furry fandom, so I was very comfortable and confident with drawing anthropomorphic characters and making it look suitably scary or mean for the setting. This person also knew that I wasn't very comfortable taking commissions for human characters, which actually will play a part in this. So I did the piece. It was full body, full colored pencil piece, and they loved it. That part went no problem, just fine. It was awesome. The part that was less awesome was when they turned around and asked me, where's the other one of the human form? And I freaking had a panic attack. I went back through my emails and chat logs trying to find the part where they added that onto the commission before I sent them a quote. Because like it was a surprise to me and I didn't charge them for an additional sketch. I went back to them and said, you know, I don't have any info for this, but I can do a sketch for you. Just send me the info because, you know, they're my buddy. I want to do something nice for them. So they compiled the info and emailed it. And it took me about 7 hours and roughly an entire sketchbook to get a sketch that I was even remotely satisfied with. Because like I said, human characters like back then were really difficult for me. So yeah, it took me that long to find something that I was comfortable with sharing with them and to give them, and I was actually pretty pleased because I felt like it was a big accomplishment for something I hadn't really had a lot of practice with. So I sent them the scan of it, and the very first feedback I got from them was, "This looks like a shitty Disney villain."
Oh, no.
And
Wow.
honestly, that honestly hurt my feelings because here I was doing something difficult, unpaid, for someone who I considered a friend, and it really felt like they were out to destroy my feelings. So I said, "Dude, that's really mean. I'm sorry you don't like it, but technically this isn't even part of the commission agreement that we had, and I was trying to do something nice." There's like silence on their end, and I get an email immediately after. Oh, God. It was an email on PayPal. They sent me $5.
Oh,
Wow.
They sent me $5
No.
That's
for
almost that's
7
worse.
something hours of my work and time. And I asked them why they were being like this, and the reply to me was, "When money changes hands, I consider it a business transaction only. Friendship or no."
What?
And that was something
Wow.
that had never really been mentioned by them during the entire discussion, and even like at all before I gave them the quote for the start of the project. So it really shocked the shit out of me. And that day I made a decision and I started researching terms of service and developed my own. And I made a hard choice when it comes to taking commissions. And when money changes hands, I'm going to treat this as a business transaction, no matter who you are. It was going to be like that for everybody. And that's been the case for, I would say, every commission since then. And it's honestly been a way better experience for me because of it. And recently, I've actually caught some flack for it from people for sticking to my guns and maintaining that polite business distance from people. I think the wording was something along the lines of being incapable of wearing more than one hat at a time. But the reality of it is I'm more than capable of wearing additional hats, but I choose not to, especially when it comes to people that I've had negative interactions with. So, like, that's my horror story, and that's also part of the reason that I really recommend to a lot of my artist friends that they should probably make their own terms of service before really going into this as a business.
That was awful. That hurt me. Like, that really.
I just want to hold you.
I know.
This was me at age 19 or 20. I'd moved out, I had a shitty job, and this was still a hobby and a passion project for me that I was doing on the side and loving it. And this fucker happened.
Yeah, that is awful.
I don't speak to him anymore.
That's for
No.
the best.
Well, Rami, I hope you cannot top that because that was awful.
No, I definitely cannot top that. Kudos to you.
I'm very glad that you can't, because like I don't want anyone to deal with that shit.
No, but I think you did that. Like, that you're even still taking commissions and doing a really great job. Like, good job, girl. You go.
Fucking bless you. I love you.
I love you too. But yeah, one thing, my commissions are usually not that bad. Actually, I've never had really bad experiences, but I do have had a few really odd requests. And this is especially one I always tell at parties or with friends, because the first question you get usually when I tell, yeah, I do art stuff and I draw this, I draw that, is, "Oh my God, what's the worst thing you've ever drawn?" Or asked to draw. Well, I think about a year ago, I got this note just from my almost completely empty DA account, which already like rings bells in my head from, don't do this, don't trust this. But I was like, okay, fair chance, I don't know you, but... And the first thing they come up to me with is, "So, you do not say for work. And yeah, I do. I'm usually not like faced by anything. I do have some things that I'm not, which I'm not comfortable with, but as long as everything's legal and consenting, I'm okay with it." So I told them that, and they were like, "Okay, so could you draw this horse for me?"
Oh my
And I was
god.
like, sure, thinking they were saying like a pony character or a furry character, which I am familiar with, so that would be fine. But then they were like, but they talked in a really weird way, in which they mostly talked in like very small sentences, so it was really confusing at all. So I just thought about that. But I kept talking with them, and suddenly they asked me, "So, are you comfortable drawing tickle fetish?" And I'm like,
Oh my god.
"Well, that sounds innocent enough. Sure." And then they're like, "Okay, so a horse getting tickled. How would you feel about that?" I was like, "Is this even not safe for work? How do you tickle a horse?" But it gets worse. So I thought, well, it's probably a furry character or a pony character. Okay, fine. They pay me. Okay. But then they came up to me like, yeah, actually, it's not really a tickle fetish. It's actually a side track from a tickle cat. Yeah, my birds are really Benjamin.
They're annoying.
I think they're kink shaming back there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, hard. They're hard. But so he asked me, yeah, it's actually a side track. How do you feel about drawing a horse on CO2, like laughing gas?
What?
And I'm just looking at it like, how do I even draw that? And I was like, no, I was getting really confused because I was thinking, okay, a furry character with laughing gas, that is going weird, but can you maybe give an example? Because he kept saying, you do realistic, right? And I thought with realistic, he meant like realistic shading, realistic coloring, like that. But what he actually meant is he wanted a full, normal feral horse, like just the things you see in the pasture. He wanted me to draw a mask on such a horse.
What the fuck?
So I was like, politely declined, like, no, I'm sorry, but I don't do real animals. Have a great day and thank you for the interest. And I just was like, okay, no. Too much internet for me today. Bye.
That's
Feel that,
scary.
man.
Yeah, that. And once that was actually a request. Someone came up to me like, okay, this sounds a bit weird, but could you draw this for me? And that already makes bells ring in my head again, like, shit, this is one of those people.
Mhm.
And what he wanted from me is, we have this guy, Willem of Oranje, and he is, how would you describe that? He has been a very important figure in the Dutch history. And he had a certain kind of suit he wore, but what I wanted is that I would draw that suit on Anna from Frozen.
What the fuck?
I actually tried, and he kept being like, "Whoa, that doesn't look like her at all." Like, no shit. And then he was like, "Yeah, but I still want you to color it." And I was like, "Sorry, this is a request. I do what I want." But and I was like, "Yeah, sorry, man, I really can't finish this." But that was like years ago.
I love when they do that. They get all uppity about a request and say, no, sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of why I don't really do requests that often. Plus, I also don't really find it fair to most of my commissioners. So, yeah. But aside from that, luckily, not too much horror stories.
Well, that's good. Doe, I'm almost scared, but what's your horror story?
I don't necessarily have any particular horror stories. Mostly just some people were unpleasant to work with. This one commissioner in particular, he wasn't even part of the pony fandom at all, but he saw that I drew ponies. Well, he called all of them unicorns. Every single one, Pegasi, they're all unicorns. Because he wanted a channel banner for his YouTube channel with unicorns on it, because that was kind of his channel's theme, like, what he called his subscribers and all of that. So I'm like, sure, I can draw you some unicorns. They're in this cartoony style, though. Is that all right? And he's like, oh, yes, I love it. They're so cute. And the character he wanted me to draw, that was his kind of channel mascot, was a unicorn Beanie Boo plushie. The kind that is like polka dotted, random colors, the giant eyes, just the plushie, the one they sell at any store or wherever. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll draw that as, in this kind of cartoony form. So he gives me this reference, but they're all so poorly lit, and I'm asking, is there a way you could brighten this up a little? And they're very tiny. And he's like, he said sure, and he tried, and it didn't really help. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just make up the colors and whatever. So then, you know, all of the details were worked out in one day. And then the next morning, even before I woke up, because we're in different time zones, it's extremely early for me, like 3 a.m. It's like, hi, do you have any updates? Are you almost done? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I've got these 10 other commissions I'm working on at the same time. And he goes on to tell me that he is a patient man, as he says.
Oh, God.
And that if he were someone else, he could very easily ask for his money back. And I'm like, well, that's fine. If you want your money back, I can give it back. But he was just saying that to try and get me to work faster. And
That's not okay.
yeah, it's not not okay at all. And this whole time, in fact, it even made me work slower because I'm like, you know what, I've got more important commissions for people who are respectful and patient. And I kind of don't want to give you this just yet. So, you know, I was taking my time working on it. And then he asks if I can also make him end cards for like his YouTube videos and like other logos and things. And I said, you know, you only commissioned me for the banner, and that's all I'm going to do. And in fact, I kind of forget most of this because I don't want to remember it all because it was not very pleasant. So to summarize, the whole time he was impatient, very picky, and constantly asking when I would be done, threatening to, you know, ask for his money back if it wasn't done. And I'm constantly giving updates like, this is where I'm at now, you know, like to prove I'm working on it, just so you know. And it was very unpleasant. And then I gave it to him, and then after he wanted me to move some stuff around, and I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I moved it around a little, and I gave him the files, of course, so he could move it around as well. So by then I was really fed up with, you know, dealing with him and doing any more stuff for him. So I'm just like, here's the layer files. I know you have Photoshop, and I know you know how to use Photoshop. You can move things around. You can crop it. You can use these images. I put them on layers so you can use them in other things. You can use those in your own cards that you want to make, all sorts of stuff like that. And the whole time he was acting so incompetent, like as though he didn't know how to use Photoshop at all, which I knew he did. So he's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. It doesn't look good when I do it. You do it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you paid me for this and I did that. I'm done.
Good for you.
Good for
How
you.
hard did you have to resist? You have to tell him to shove it up his ass.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, see, that's kind of like for me, when it gets to that, I just get to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna send you your money back, and then don't ever contact me again.
Can I pay you not to talk to me ever again?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, Crystal's got the next one.
So, our dear artists, hopefully this will be less of a drudge down painful memory lane. What is your view on art school or otherwise attending art classes? Beneficial, overrated, underrated? Rosvidir?
Okay, so I feel inadequate, like I can't properly give an opinion on art school because I never went to an art school or anything of the sort. So I think that's probably up more for the individual. Unless you're an American, it costs like $40,000 a year, in which case, don't. As for art classes, I definitely think you should, because I think that forces you to be in an environment where you're, one, surrounded by other people with different ideas and different ways of going about things, and you're in a honestly, I think, kind of pseudo-professional environment where you have to, you have projects that you have to do for sure, and so you have to kind of, I think it's kind of some nice training for things like commissions and stuff. If that makes sense.
It does. I was distracted by Rami sharing her cuteness. Nalu, what is your opinion on art school?
Admittedly, I have had like actual 2 art classes in my entire life, and they were kind of like the smorgasbord, tried different mediums types of art classes in high school. And they weren't really like super focused on improving one area over another. So I don't feel like that particular kind of class was very beneficial for me. But as an adult and having developed my stuff like on my own pretty much, I really do want to look into like taking some anatomy classes or courses like that, because I think now that I'm older and I know what I want from an art class, I think I'd be better equipped to actually sit through one and absorb information. So I would recommend it to people that are ready to push themselves a bit further.
And what about you, Rami?
Well, you could actually say I did art school, but it's like a little step in front of art school. I did a graphic design education. I actually got my diploma for that as well. Only I can't really speak about it with any enthusiasm because I honestly thought it sucked hard.
Shit.
Let me say it like this. It wasn't really a complete arts education. It was actually mostly graphic design with a, like the first 2 years you learned the birds are very enthusiastic. The first 2 years you actually learned everything. So you did graphic design, you did art, you did video, montage, filming stuff, and website.
I love the commentary from them.
Website building. Benjamin. Shh. But eventually in the 3rd class I would go completely art, and even then it was just mostly graphic design, just make this poster, just do this, and we were very limited and I didn't feel like I learned anything at all actually. But what I can say about actual art school, a lot of my classmates, not that I had that many classmates, but a lot of them went to actual art academics. One of them is actually studying making comics at the moment, and 2 of them recently went to an actual art school, and one of them recently also left that art school. The problem with art school is that it can really lift you in one direction, but it also limits you in a lot of others, because art school here is very conceptual, and if you're technically very good, so you can draw very well, but your idea-wise are not as great, you'll just not get it. Like, you can try your best, but it's really about the concept here. And as an artist that is just not as great with concepts myself, art school wouldn't work for me. And for a lot of my classmates, it wouldn't work as well for that sad reason. And aside from that, it's quite competitive here as well. So you need to be able to withstand that kind of pressure on you. The only thing I can actually say I really got from that art school, yeah, the birds are going crazy, is that I met a lot of really lovely people that still inspire me to this day and have actually kind of saved me from not drawing anymore. So that's a good part. Like,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's just like, I'm glad you got saved from not drawing anymore.
yeah, it was just the education was so such a disappointment in a way, because when I was really small, I already told I was already drawing, and my big dream was going to art school. And if you find out that that school is not what you expected, yeah, that's quite a big hit in the face. And
I feel that.
yeah, so then it just feels like all your dreams and stuff have been crushed. And what I did learn from that is that you really make your own path, and you really make your own way. You really need to think of your own way, what makes you happy and what kind of art makes you happy, and you should do that. And I'm still trying to find the art that really does it for me, but I'm definitely on the way.
That's awesome. And Do you have any opinions on art schools or classes?
I've never really taken any art classes, and I have not gone to art school. I do know some people who do like my cousin that I grew up drawing with, she and my boyfriend both go to the same art school, the College for Creative Studies in Detroit. And she's there for illustration and animation, and he's there for video game design and 3D sculpting. So I hear a lot about the different arts that are there. And I hear that it's basically the same kind of stress level and work level as music school, which I do go to. And it is a lot of stress and work. And, they tell me all these things that they learned, which I think is really cool. But they also tell me about, the ridiculousness of the deadlines and what you have to do. They don't particularly tell me about any limitations that they encounter. I feel like, yes, you'll probably be limited in some classes, but in other ways that'll open up for more things that you can do on your own after learning all these different concepts and techniques. I personally think I really would like to go to an art school, or at least take some more classes for like figure drawing and anatomy, or learn more about colors and composition, and even do more animation as well. I think that's something I'd like to do perhaps in the future. But as of right now, I don't necessarily have any personal experience with any classes in art or animation or anything like that.
Alrighty. And
I think-
so, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's all these responses should really tell people listening in, if you're interested in doing art, you don't really need a formal education for it. Just do it.
Yeah, and I think it's got some really great views there. And I think this kind of goes on the heels of that, so I picked this one next. It's which artist, if there is one, do you look up to the most, or did look up to? Rosby?
Well, I guess in a classical sense, I really, really, really love Gustav Klimt.
Oh, yes.
I'm assuming I'm saying names right, by the way. I
You
don't
are.
actually know. And I'm going to say this name so badly. Mucha. He does a lot of the Art Nouveau stuff from the 20s, and his sketches are just glorious, and I love them so very much. On a more contemporary side of things, I'm about to show off my weeaboo-ness again, and I really like the comic artists Clamp. They do a lot of work, and just looking from their work different over time and how they switch art styles between titles, it's just always amazed me that someone can do that much difference and stuff. So yeah.
Now, Lou?
I have a short list, actually.
That was short.
Sorry, I was grabbing some links because I'm actually going to link a couple from the folks that I like. Current artists like...
I'm a little sad. I thought Nolly said I love Kermit. I'm like, yes, I love Kermit too. But that's
Kermit's
not
badass. Oh, eat me. As do why.
Uh,
So for current artists, I love like fantasy, animal, wildlife kind of things, and Bala Makenda and Jademir do beautiful work like that. Historical artists, I'm right there with Rosby. Fucking Gustav Klimt is a badass. And I think an artist that I looked up to a lot when I was younger did a graphic novel called ElfQuest, which if you haven't seen it or read it, and you're into like alternate worlds where there are like elfin characters that aren't typically like the super tall kind of wayfish ones like in Lord of the Rings or whatever, I would absolutely recommend giving that a shot, because like they are just fantastic. The writing and the art is on point as hell.
Excellent. And Rami?
Well, to just list one, that would be impossible. But yeah, I just don't really know how to answer this, because I have so many artists that I really love and really like admire in a way. And I had the first one that does come to mind is a artist on the Ventart called Canis Albus. I think in the 8 years I've been on the Ventart so far, I've been following them for about 7. And in all these years, I've just keep loving them. Like their art, their style. If they would do tattoos, I would tattoo my entire body with just all their art. And
Yeah.
speaking about that, another artist I really admire is help. What? Let me just. I believe it's Fuki art on the Ventart. Fuki ink is it on the where she actually tattoos? But I am going to Poland in a few weeks to actually get a tattoo from her after following her for about 2 or 3 years. So I'm quite nervous and quite excited about that actually.
That's awesome.
But yeah, there are just so many artists that inspire me every day, and even just the artists from this chat, like they're all great, and it's just an honor to even be able to stand aside of those artists in a kind of chat like this.
Wonderful. And Doe?
I've got so many artists that I love in so many different ways for their art style, for their ideas, for everything they do. I don't think I can give many names right now because I'm horrible at remembering names. I just recognize styles and know that this is that person that I really like. But I think it's gonna sound kind of cliche, but I think my favorite artist is my cousin that I grew up drawing with, because her art is phenomenal, and what she can do makes me feel so jealous and unworthy when we draw together now. And she's just fantastic. She does all sorts of really cartoony, like old style, squishy cartoony, some super amazing realistic paintings and everything. And I just really, really look up to her as an artist. And I think she's probably one of the biggest reasons why I still really like to draw, because whenever I see the new stuff she's doing now, I'm just like, oh, I want to do that too. So she's probably my #1 favorite artist.
That is so
that's,
sweet.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Well, this is an artist special, but let's have a little interlude of what are some of your other hobbies, Mr. Rosby?
Tumblr. So I consider Tumblr a hobby. So that's a thing. Weather meteorology. I like
Yep.
that.
Is that a hobby or a passion?
It's a lifestyle. Thank you.
Oh my God. Nalu, do you have any other hobbies?
Surprising no one. I love video games.
I was gonna say Final Fantasy.
Well, like, mostly just games in general. I really enjoy Final Fantasy 14. It's fantastic. I also really love Overwatch. For non-game
Oh, yeah.
type hobbies, I love music. I love reading. Tumblr, if that counts as a hobby, yeah, that's
Rosby
up there.
counted
Irie, all the Felk Leaves Bay.
it. All right. Rami, do you have any other hobbies besides art?
Wait, there's a world beside art? Well, hobbies, those exist. I game a little bit. Recently, a friend of mine got me addicted to The Witcher 3. And I really, really like to watch series with my boyfriend and programs. He's sitting next to me. John, say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, that was the bird. Taking care of my lovely birds. Totally not sarcastically. And aside from that, yeah. Drawing is a big part of my life. And yeah, I'm totally in with the Tumblr hobby squad.
Yes.
Okay,
Hell
Joe.
yeah.
Are you a Tumblrite too?
I used to be. I actually stopped going on there for a while because it takes up so much time, and then I just started doing other things that I just kind of forgot to go on Tumblr. So I kind of don't really do that so much anymore. Sometimes I'll go on and scroll through my dashboard and be like, same memes from last year, a couple new ones. But I guess it's kind of a hobby, but also it's my profession. I am a violinist, and
Nice.
I teach violin as well. Actually, that's what I'm studying in school right now, both violin performance and musical education. And I also, play in weddings, and I play in orchestras and operas and stuff. And I guess that's mostly my profession, but sometimes I see it more of a hobby when I'm focusing more on art, and then when I'm focusing more on music, I see art as a hobby. So they kind of like flip-flop sometimes. So yeah, music, and I love video games, of course. I also love just sometimes watching them instead of playing them, because what interests me the most about some really good games is more like the storyline and, of course, the soundtrack. And I analyze video game soundtracks because both of those are my life, essentially. Video games and music, and just the way that some video game companies, the things they do with their soundtrack, with the themes and the kind of text painting and the underlying stuff that's in there, is absolute genius. Like if you listen to the Zelda soundtracks, I can go on forever about why they're fantastic and how they're genius with the text painting and the themes and everything, and the fragmentation of the themes to symbolize this and that. And it's really, really great. So I love video games for so many reasons. The story, the art, the originality. Yes, Ori and the Blind Forest is amazing. The soundtrack, it's fantastic.
That one blew me the fuck away.
The game itself is just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. It's like playing art.
Exactly. I love it. I love it so much.
All right. Okay.
You guys are so cute. This is like the cute edition.
It is. All right. This is a technical question, and I think a lot of new artists and folks that are curious will be in. Tell us about the programs you use to draw, starting with Rosby.
Well, so I am kind of curious about how this works with everyone, but I basically started with MS Paint, and I stuck with MS Paint for the longest time.
This is true. Until the
Kind
point
of
where
embarrassing.
until the point that he was drawing with us, because Kristen and I kind of shoved him out of MS Paint in a way, I would say.
Basically, it was so I'm
Let me cut out there, buddy.
You did.
we're okay. I was trying to do things, and then I forgot I was having to press Alt to do those things, and everything kind of went boom. But so like
It kind
That's
of looked
it.
like this.
Oh, that's what I was posting something too. Oh yeah,
Kinda looked
that
like
too.
that.
So like I did everything in MS Paint, and then they were like, no, you have to do things that aren't. And so when I got my tablet, it actually came with a free subscription thing to ArtRage. Yes, that was on MS Paint.
It was outrageous.
Could I do that now? No, I would die. But so I basically use ArtRage pretty exclusively. It's my favorite. I love it. It carries a lot of the stuff over that makes it feel like I'm using real stuff. But, and this is a question I want to add on to this to ask about the other artists. So for me, I found I can't draw humans or whatever, except if it's like with traditional, like on my sketch pad, with my hand and a pencil. But I can't draw things like ponies or whatever unless it's on ArtRage. So, like, I'm kind of curious, do other people also have those weird...
All right. So to pass to Nalu, what do you use, and are you like Rosby?
My art program, Holy Trinity, is Paint Tool Sai, Photoshop CS6, and Manga Studio right now. And about 12 years back, I actually switched entirely to digital, so I haven't really touched pencil to paper except for like doodling on notepads and like sticky notes every now and then when I'm bored.
Any strange things that you have to do different?
It's been 12 years and I still can't shake myself of the habit of trying to brush off eraser shavings off of my tablet surface.
Ah.
I so feel this.
Right?
All right. And Rami?
Yeah, I also use Paint Tool Sai, and I actually just used Paint Tool Sai. I used to also use Photoshop and Photoshop Elements, but eventually I just stopped using it, and now I just use Sai. I do my sketches completely digital. I used to draw my drawings in my sketchbook and then just make pictures of them and then color those in. But since a year or I think 4, maybe 5, I've only been drawing digital, or at least for commissions. I still doodle a lot and still draw it traditionally just for myself. Weird things. The only weird things I have is that when I do draw traditionally, is that I try to push Ctrl-Z, or I will try to I'll get my fingers and try to zoom in on the paper, and then 5 seconds later I will feel like a complete idiot.
I feel this too.
Same here.
We have been ruined.
And Doe?
I primarily use Paint Tool Sai. Sometimes I use Photoshop Elements. I mostly just use it for saving my pixel animations as GIFs or GIFs or whatever. But yeah, I mostly use Paint Tool Sai. In the beginning, I did start out with MS Paint, and I actually moved from MS Paint to something called Artweaver, which was kind of interesting. So I used the combination of the two for a while until I got my tablet, which came with Photoshop Elements. And then I used that until I discovered that Paint Tool Sai is what I like much better. For traditional drawing, I used to draw traditionally all the time. I've got stacks and stacks and stacks of sketchbooks in my room. But now I mostly draw digitally, except for like if I'm not at home, out somewhere in class or something, I will sketch on my notes, of course. And if I end up sketching something in my notes that I like, and I'm like, oh, I want to finish this, I'll just scan it and finish it digitally. And everything ends up being digital, pretty much.
Makes sense. All right. Ms. Crystal?
Okay, I'm going to read this as it was written, and I also agree with it. So, what I'd like to ask is something that could help others listening in the future when commissioning an artist. Do you find yourself ever falling into a specific theme or niche when doing commissions or artwork? Rosby?
References. Please, dear God, references. If a reference, everything else, at least for me, I feel like everything else is incidental almost. As for the second bit, I don't know if this is necessarily what the question is asking for, but I have found, with commissions at least, if someone comes to you and says, will you draw this, and you've never drawn it before, and you're like, sure, why not? And you draw the thing and they like the thing, suddenly that will all you will be known for. And the only thing people will ever come to commission from you, don't fall into that trap. It's awful.
I know exactly what you're talking about, too.
So do I.
Shh.
Nalu?
I'll admit I'm a little bit confused on what the question's asking too, but when it comes to the part about helping others when they're commissioning an artist, references, compile that shit and have it all in one place. Don't make me go searching through like a billion pages, please.
Hell yes.
Mm.
You
So
can find
I-
the references in my gallery.
Yeah.
Oh my sweet Jesus, I am triggered.
Direct links are nothing.
Direct links, so get the fuck out. Specific themes or niche? Yeah, I've been doing pony art for the last I don't know how many years now because of ponies being what my clients want. But
Same.
I've also been taking like side commissions on my main art blog and stuff to try to help expand and challenge myself with my own projects too. So I try not to let myself just do art of one particular type. Like if I'm getting clients that want me to do that kind of work, awesome, but I will also do my own projects that'll be something completely different.
So yeah, so I think that's what the second part, that's how I interpreted the second part of the question. Like, you know, Rosby's issue of taking a commission of something and then becoming the person for that type of commission. For his sake, we won't share what, but it's a little embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing. And like you said, someone will like, oh, Painted Wave, ponies. Like that's what you just become known for. That's what I think it's asking. Rami?
Yeah, like the other said, references. Oh, and if you do send a reference, which, because I have had this before, send 1 or 2 references which are current. Don't send me like 5 or 6 references which are all made at different time periods and be like, oh yeah, but take from reference E this, and then take from this, and then take from this, because that's just really confusing. Just either have 1 or 2 concrete references, or commission someone for a reference, or because then then you can give a reference, of course. But if it's not a reference, please just give references and choose. Really have a clear reference. Aside from that, yeah, ponies. What can I say? I've been doing it for 4 years now. I cannot shake it, but I'm fine with it. I'm still having fun with it, and as long as I change it from time to time, so I get a few furry commissions, I get a few human commissions. I currently do a lot of D&D sketches, which really keep my drive going. Yeah, everything's fine.
I love your D&D sketches. I just want to put that out there.
Yes.
Like, so much of my writing doesn't come from any like writing stories. It came from DMing and writing stories for DM games. And so like, I don't know why, but like character sketches, game sketches, that's just like a thing. So like every time you do it, I'm like, yes.
Oh, thank
Sorry,
you. Yeah,
sorry.
that's really recognizable. My boyfriend probably has the same. He's also a DM, and he does it pretty well. So he really wants to write his own stories as well. So
I just never really get to it, and I really resent myself for a bit for that. Because
Get to it, man. Jeez.
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, make the
Do it,
time.
man.
yeah. I've been trying to.
Sorry for interrupting there. And Doe?
Yeah, references 100%. And like even better, even if it's not just like a, what am I saying? Preferred is a reference sheet that has more information about the character than just a flat color of the character. Because that helps, if it tells about the personality. Maybe it shows, they have like a scar hidden on one side that isn't on the side there in the just the flat color or something like that. Yeah, just references are the best way to make sure that your character's drawn how your character is. Specific themes or niches or whatever. Recently it's my little bouncy pixel page dolls that I've been
they're so
doing.
cute.
I started doing one as a test, and then I got a commission for one. Then suddenly everyone's like, oh, these are what Doe does. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what I do. I mean, they are fun to make and I enjoy making them, but I also, I like drawing full body shaded. I like doing full background images as well, but everyone's like, I want a pixel page doll.
Yeah. It's,
Okay, so bonus round. So Doe said what the other kind of commissions that you'd not rather do, but would really like to do. Okay, bonus round. Rosby, what do you wish people would commission you more for?
I just want to draw weather.
Okay.
Draw weather.
Nalu.
I might have to go last because I gotta think about that, honestly.
Okay. Rami.
I think humans, to be honest. I've been drawing them more lately, and they're really a big. How do you say that? They're still a bit difficult for me, so all the practice I can get is really nice. I mean, ponies are fun, but they can get a bit dreading sometimes.
Okay, Nalu, spotlight.
Action and combat oriented commissions, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Noted.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's time for the hard-hitting questions. Really important ones. Favorite Q&B pony? Rosby.
Well, okay, let's ask for some clarification. I'm assuming that you cannot answer yourself,
You can,
but
it
that
would
would be
make
looked
you-
down upon.
yeah, you would look like a huge tool.
Wow.
Well, I might be okay with that. So because of that, I'm gonna go with red.
Red Velvet.
Yes.
Fair enough. Nalu?
Shit. Yes. Yes is my answer.
You win.
Rami?
Oh dear. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I've read 2 or almost 3 parts of Ansel's story, but I haven't read Crystal's yet. But I've liked almost all characters so far, and I can't choose. I think one of my favorite definitely was Winterspear,
I like Winter Spear a lot too.
and the other one was I definitely did have another favorite, but I can't really find it at the moment. So if I get to it, I'll just type it in the chat or something.
There you go. And Dokitty?
Oh no. I love them all, but I don't know much about them.
That's fair. That's as we learned earlier. It's as our authors, we don't expect our artists to read everything. Fair enough.
Oh,
yeah.
Remembered
I just like them all. They're nice.
Miley and Rosby, definitely.
Yes.
Thank
Miley's a lot
you.
of fun. Nobody likes Rosby.
I love Rosby.
Okay.
Well, I want to ask, because I have a personal investment in this question. What is your favorite Disney song?
Well, sorry, I just jumped in because I'm assuming I'm first.
Yes, no.
It's awful. I
I
know.
figured you knew you were
are,
first.
babe.
Check your privilege.
It would definitely forever and always be My Own Home from the Jungle Book.
Oh. Nalu?
Under the Stars from The Lion King.
Oh my goodness. Rami?
I am searching at the moment. I literally my phone is like either death metal or Disney songs. Either Hellfire from The Hunchback of the Notre Dame,
So good.
or from Disney's Hercules, Go the Distance.
Ooh. Nando.
Shame me all you want, but I don't actually know many Disney songs. I mean,
It's okay.
We won't shame you.
Honestly,
We would never shame you.
I've played almost all of them in orchestras, but I don't know them because I don't actually watch a lot of Disney, nor do I just not really watch many movies in general. So I don't think I can pick a favorite. Though someone might get upset for me for not saying Let It Go because my name is Elsa.
Oh.
I'm
But-
so sorry.
I liked the song once, and then like
The internet
then
killed it.
everyone's asking me if I
Yeah.
want to build a snowman when it's 90 degrees outside, and I'm like, oh no.
I can empathize so much.
Oh.
With my I won't get too far because this ain't about me, this is about y'all, but I just want you to know I empathize because my first name is Kristen and my maiden name is Stewart. And if you're familiar with the Twilight series, The actress who
Oh,
played
no.
Bella was Kristen Stewart, spelled the exact same.
I'm
It's
so
horrible.
sorry.
But you do have to tell the Dragon Con story before we go.
Okay.
On, 'cause that's
Okay, so Dragon Con, I had my name on my badge because it's my name. Yeah. So I'm in an elevator and this guy beside me kind of looks down at me and puts on this super smug expression and goes, "You realize Kristen Stewart was the actress, not the character, right?" As if I am some dumb bimbo who's trying to cosplay as Bella but got it wrong. And I just kind of look back up at him. I'm so like shocked by his smug rudeness. I'm just like, it's my name. And if you're familiar with Dragon Con, there's 80,000 people, dear. Sorry, I read Rami say dear, so I said dear. There's 80,000 people there, and the elevators are super, super, super slow. So we had a very long, awkward ride up the hotel.
Oh no.
Beautiful.
I've actually had people deny that my name really was Elsa when like I've met a new person and they're like, "Oh, what's your name?" "Oh, I'm Elsa." And you're like, "Yeah, right." And it was like, "I'm sorry, but show them my ID. This is my name. I was born with this name long before this movie existed." So,
exactly.
Sorry.
You had it first. Someone ruined it for you.
mhm.
I see. All right. Well, I want to go the opposite of a question we had earlier because I'm kind of excited to hear this one. So, take this any way you want it. What was your favorite request or commission, or like your favorite commissioner? Like, you just loved working with, whatever you want to do. And it doesn't have to be us because I know I'm all of your favorites, so we can just skip that one. But starting with Rozzy, what's your favorite or best experience? However you want to do it.
Oh,
And it can't be
let's see.
Sam.
Well, fine. Probably. So there was this guy who came up. Well, okay. Oh God, sorry. This is a hard question. So one, I really like people who send you extra money because they think you've done a good job. That's just a nice thing to do, and so I would like to. Yeah, I just find that awesome, and more people should do that. So, it's never going to go anywhere, I don't think. But there was someone who came up and was like, "I have this idea for a card game. Will you do art?" And I said, "Will you pay me up front?" "Yes." Then I'm on. And it involves really, really awful food puns. And so I am just incredibly in love with all of these stupid things. Like, I'm going to share them in here just because. So, like, one of them was
You cut out there.
Parmadillo.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Like,
that one.
I just
yes.
love them so much.
So cute.
There was another one that was... Sorry, I have three, and then I'll stop.
No, go for it.
One of them was Pinguini.
Oh. I also now want Italian for dinner.
I just love
Oh my
that.
God, that's amazing.
And lastly, there was one that was Thoroughbred, which for
God.
obvious...
Of course. Horse.
Whoopsie doodles.
And then you accidentally
It
linked.
said no.
What said no? Discord?
Has requested... Oh, wait. For some reason, it says this is explicit, but
What
it's
the
not.
All right.
Clydebot, whoa there. I'm going to try that again just to see.
Is it lumpy and cylindrical? Is that why it's giving you guff?
Ooh, maybe.
We
And
can
it's horse
temporarily
shaped. I
turn
mean-
down the...
I'll just...
No.
It does not like this picture.
Okie dokie. Maybe
It's
a
But
link.
it's adorable.
How about a link to the picture?
I can do that real quick. So I'll do that when other people are talking. But yes.
Turn it upside
so.
down.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right, Miss Nalu.
Favorite
Do you have any
commission?
pornographic commissions that you want to link?
Not today, no. This was what, favorite project?
Favorite project.
I'm
best
sorry,
commissioner,
it's gonna
whatever.
sound like brown nosing, but like my last two favorites, I would say, are easily Dread Knight and Solara. Like, I really enjoy working on projects where the client is just like in the mood for and willing to powwow with me about ideas instead of like Like, I don't mind people that know exactly what they want and just want to tell me what to do with art, and that's fine. But I really love it when I get to do a project that feels like I really had a contribution, not only to like the technical parts of it, but to the actual like creation of it, creation of the idea. I've been putting it down. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
We collaborate more than we commission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like easily one of my favorite things. So whatever, call me a brown noser. I don't care. Working
And
with you guys is the best.
You can be honest. Your favorite part of the Solara one was the tiny silent knight that hung himself.
I think that's everyone's, though.
Wow.
Ronnie.
Yeah, I missed a little bit of that. Is it about the favorite kind of commission or the favorite commissions you've done?
Either. It could be, any, like your best experience, what you really enjoy, your favorite commission, anything positive, that sort of thing.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually a difficult one because you tend to remind the ones that you liked less a lot better. Because most of all my commissions are commissioners, and my commissions are usually very nice, very fun to do. I recently had a really fun project that a person from Belgium came up to me, actually not via the vent art, but via my email, and just they asked me if I could make. It was a kind of template for them, so they could show people certain parts where you should measure certain parts of the human body because they wanted to make patterns for free, like for clothing and for all kinds of fabric-related stuff. And the guy just was really nice. He sent me some extra money, like Rosby said, that's always nice. He was generally really enthusiastic. He had ideas what he wanted with this. He was clear about it, and usually when commissioners are like that, every commission is a joy. And this is gonna sound really bad, but like Quill and Braid, I really love working with you guys because you guys are really nice towards me. You're just really open to suggestions, and as long as commissioners are like that, just nice and open and kind and with fun projects like this one, for example, to me, all commissions are a lot of fun. Even the ones that are taking a tiny little bit of my soul with it. But even those, I make people really happy with them, and even though I'm slightly disgusted afterwards, it's still nice.
I just see Rami like I'm so happy for you as she rocks back and forth in the hot shower trying to wash it off.
Yeah, like I have this friend, and he's like, he's really nice, and he's so supporting, and he's like incredible, but he is like the worst fetishes imaginable.
Oh my god.
That he commissions me, and he is so kind and so nice, and I know him in real life, so I really can't say no. But each time when I draw a commission like that, a little bit of my soul gets stolen away.
All right, Joe. What's your favorite or best? Anything positive that you want to share?
I really don't know. I enjoy almost every commission that I do because I just really love seeing when people are excited to see what I've drawn for them or are really happy with what I give them. I really enjoy working here with Quill and Blade to make the emojis, and I hope to actually draw some non-pixel art of some of the characters sometime when I have time.
We can do that.
Yeah, I think I'd really love to do that as well because all of their designs are just so great, and I love how they're also diverse. And another type of commission that I really like is like scenes with a whole background where something's happening, where maybe two characters are interacting or someone's interacting with something else, because it's a lot different than just drawing the singular character in a pose looking towards the screen, like smiling, or is just kind of a pose picture. I like to create a scene and make it feel like something's really happening. And I love getting those types of commissions. I don't get many of them because they are more detailed and more expensive, but I do really enjoy them, even if they take me a lot of time.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
you mentioned that, but we have this scene of the quarter that we need an artist for. We may have found our scene of the quarter artist.
And we don't mind sharing because we love everybody. And since you talked about you only done the pixel art, I think we could talk about that.
And this one would contain a canon character. If you are comfortable
Yes.
doing with those, because like Nalu's not comfortable doing with those, and that's totally fine. And
Yeah,
if you're not
Nalu-
either, that's totally fine.
yeah, assuming you will do a canon character because Nalu does not. What I've heard from all y'all, which is really interesting, is kind of talking about people getting excited, and that's one of the things why I really like commissions being on this side so much, because I like working with artists, and not necessarily just this is what I want, do it. I do love the back and forth. I think that's a big deal. Like one of the most fun things I did with Nalu when I was trying to work through kind of Silent Night, I was like, can you just do some doll heads and put hair on it or manes? And she did. And of course the other thing is we were kind of screwing around, and it ultimately ended up with some silliness. Like she did one like Johnny Bravo, and it was just a lot of fun. But it's so interesting to hear the four of you, because Rosby's nice too, I guess, on the inside, talking about making people happy. Because really, honestly, when you send a sketch, even a sketch or an in progress or the final, it really makes my day usually. Like it's so exciting. It's like Christmas. Like it is just as, I would say I get more excited as an adult about receiving anything from our artists than I do on Christmas. And I hope y'all truly understand that you really do make things happy. So, good job there. Oh, there it is. Yes. Yes. I love that. Nala, do you still have the not Silent Night, not Princess Luna with the goatee, with the glasses on the goatee?
I think I might.
Oh my God, please tell me you have that, because
I got it.
Okay, that is literally like my favorite thing you've ever done from the silly side of things.
Yes, one of the fun things about working with Nalu, like when she's streaming, is making ridiculous requests like that.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But wait, wasn't there? Didn't you actually put a little set of glasses on the goatee at some point?
I don't know if I have that one.
Oh my God, that was so amazing.
I think that was probably in there somewhere, but I think I just deleted that. And
That was so much fun.
Yes. So at some point, that same Silent Night had a second set of glasses on the goatee.
on the goatee.
Okay, sorry to
Also-
Same
derail.
shit when I stream.
Also, that's just a gorgeous picture.
It is a gorgeous picture.
Agreed.
Okay. So, screw all this positivity. Let's go right back into negativity.
Heck yeah.
I know art tends to be a personal process, but not every piece of helpful advice works for a given artist. What major suggestion for art making do you generally refuse to follow because it just doesn't work for you? Rosby, I'm calling you by name this time.
Someone else can go if they have something.
Oh,
I got this.
okay.
Thank
You
you.
should do it like Blank does it.
Oh wow, yeah. See,
Like, fuck right off.
yeah, no. See, I'm not going to go too long on the soapbox, but yeah, that I can't stand. It's the same thing for authors. Well, blah 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 did it like this in their story.
Yep.
Well, you know what? That's their story, and you can read their story, and they can write their story. But don't come over here and bring that into my house.
Do people really do that, Dolly?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Peeps are jerks.
Hmm.
Like there is very little that people that are very entitled feeling won't say to you.
Okay. Yeah, no, that is something you should refuse to follow. Rosby, have you thought of one yet, or are you still being
I
skipped?
can go last.
Okay. Rami, has anyone given you advice that just does not work for you?
Well, I've gotten plenty, but I actually didn't really. Well, I wasn't really able to pinpoint one, and then my boyfriend just really silently whispered.
Oh yeah. Taking critique at all.
Yeah, you can see that I'm pointing a finger at him. But yeah, I usually when you're an artist, it's really healthy and good for you to take critique and ask for critique. But I am a sensitive little flower, and I am really not able to take a lot. So any helpful critique, please do it. But aside from that, please leave me alone. I just want to be happy with My Little Ponies and D&D persons.
No,
Yeah.
good for you.
Yep.
No, really. Like, that happens. So, I mean, our anecdotes are going to be writing because that's what we do. But that happens a lot.
Yeah, but don't take me wrong. If you're a commissioner and you're like, oh, but I want this different, that's totally not critique. That's just you wanting something different. But just when a picture is finished, some people are like, oh, you should change this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's finished and now I just hate it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a bad thing to do, by the way. People do not follow the Romy. This is not a good artist mind. But yeah, this is my artist's, how do you call it, bad habit.
well, I don't know that it's a bad habit. So from the other side, and sorry to interrupt Doe and Rosby, like
And me.
I struggle to bring up things because like I never want an artist to feel like I'm judging their work, and it's okay because I've gotten better at it. And again, it's how you do it. But the big thing for me as a commissioner is I do not like, unless I'm comfortable with an artist, I can't stand the black hole. Because I've worked with some artists in the past where basically it's like you do a commission, you're like, here's what I want. They say, okay, you pay up front or whatever. And then like 2 months later, you get a done picture. You never got a sketch, you never got an in progress, and like things aren't right. And I feel horrible because I'm just like, well, this and this, you didn't pay attention to that. And oh, what do I do? So I kind of understand when people do that sort of thing, but really from my perspective, if it's done and you saw, if you got a sketch or something, they don't have the right to say, oh, do this different.
Yeah, indeed. I completely agree with you. Then I also think that the commissioner definitely has the right to complain because you didn't give them the chance to change anything at a stage where it was much easier to change
Exactly.
things. So then I also don't see it as critique because then you're just the one at fault and you should be critiqued because this is your fault that you didn't contact the commissioner well. So then it's completely fine. But I'm usually, when I say critique, it's actually more about my own work, which is not that much currently. But even my D&D sketches, for example, I'm really attached to those in a way. And I don't get that fast with drawings. Like, usually I draw something and then I just look at it like 10 minutes later, like, oh, I did this. Okay. And that's it. But drawings, which you're in a way really attached to, just hit you harder when people are like, yeah, but this looks weird, or oh, this character looks like that character, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yes, no. Unsolicited critique is, I feel very strongly about. In art, in writing, in any kind of creative endeavor, there is a camp of people who believe that if you are doing something and posting it, then you should want to improve and you should want to listen to them and you should want to be better than you are. But creative endeavors are subjective and there's no necessarily better per se. There's different. There's ways you can, work in a different direction that might be quote unquote better, but everyone should be allowed to just post something because they enjoy doing it. I don't care if, it wasn't your best art or whatever, or if it wasn't your best story. That's not for other people to decide that they can tell you that unless you ask for critiques. Because like DeviantArt has that feature where you can ask for critiques. If you're not doing that, then bugger off. Sorry.
Yep, that's right.
Exactly.
Let people be happy.
No kidding.
I've actually had. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to pass you. I was going to. So, by not being happy, let's talk about angry things again.
Okay. Well, I've actually had people give me incorrect advice about like anatomy or shading, and they're like, "Oh, you should do it like this," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, but that's not how legs go," or something like that. And they're very adamant about it too. And they're like, "Oh, I know what I'm talking about." I was like, "I'm sorry, but that's actually wrong. I'm not just saying that because I think I'm right. I'm saying that because that's actually not right, and I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry."
Yes. Rosby, saggy boobs.
So, oh God,
That has burned me forever.
The worst. So, okay, sorry, we're going on a minor diatribe in place of me having anything to answer this question with because I feel like everyone else has already said wonderful things and I just don't even know. But so way back when Crystal and I would create characters and make stories with them and stuff, and I of course had to draw them because why not? And so I did that for one of the characters, and she was a more voluptuous character. And for some reason, a friend that I had commented and was like, wow, she sure has sacky boobs. And there was this long comment string of Crystal being like, no, that's what boobs look like.
I was
This is
so
natural.
outraged.
It's not. It was fantastic.
Wow.
And I will
I
forever
was-
treasure it.
Yeah, no. I was outraged because it's like, oh, I'm sorry, people don't have watermelons like in anime. Rosby drew
Fuck.
anatomically correct chest proportions and placements. And, oh, I was angry.
Yes, because as we have all learned, breasts are not immune to gravity. If they were, we would fly to space on them.
I kind of agree with this idea. When do we start?
I'm ready.
All
We need a
right.
spaceship.
Well, that just took a turn that I did not expect. So apparently, Quill and Blade is going to launch a new. You're welcome, Rick. A new space program. Okay, so we are coming up on the 20-minute mark before the end of the show. We may have an after show a little bit, just if people want to still kind of do like a more loose Q&A, but I don't want to keep our artists forever as it is Saturday and Things of Truth. So I'd like for the last 20 minutes. Oh, the mango is active. Let's go with positive, more happier type stuff. So let's go with well, I mean, this one could go either way, but I thought this was an interesting question. Do you have any life lessons you learned from doing art that could be applied outside of art? Rosby.
Typing and I totally not understand what you said.
So have you, through doing art and or commissions or anything of that nature, have you learned any lessons that are applicable outside of art? As in,
Oh.
yeah, like has art made your life better in some way?
Well, of course it has. For, I guess, to stick to a single example, I think art has been very good with, say, giving me, good words, how do they work? I think it's taught me the way to tell the difference between a situation in which you need to just stop trying right now, you're just making it worse, you need to get away from it, you need to quit temporarily, versus those where, no, you need to keep going. And so I think learning the difference between when to respond one way or the other has been a big thing it's taught me.
That's a really good one. Nalu?
Actually, very similar is helping me know when it's okay for me to say no to something that I'm not totally cool with.
That's another excellent skill. Rami?
I also agree with the previous answer. Aside from that, dealing with a lot of commissioners and art every day, it's not really I learned something directly from the art, but more with dealing with the people is that simply trying to be kind always, or even when people actually don't deserve it, is good for you. And I'm not saying that you should be kind in moments that you really shouldn't be, but on first notice, always just try to be kind, try to be nice to people, try to look at their point of view of things. I've had many times that I did not get why a certain commissioner would say something or would mean something. And if you just try a little more each day to look at it in a way that they would look at it, then you start to understand people a lot better and know that we're all humans and we're all just trying to go through our days eventually, and just try to be nice in general. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent lesson. I really do. A little kindness goes a long way and can easily diffuse a situation. Dope?
Pretty much the same thing everyone's been saying. Like, when to stop. Like, when to, if you're getting frustrated with the drawing, when to just back away for a sec. Maybe go off, do something else. If you're thinking about it, yeah, maybe you have an idea that, oh, this is how I can make it better. Or even if you're not thinking about it, and when you come back to it, you're looking at it in a new light. And you can do that with so many things. Music as well, when you're playing something and it's just getting too frustrating and you're like, I just can't get this passage right. It's not working. You can just put it down and come back to it later. And then, of course, being able to say no to someone. And actually something I've learned a lot from doing commissions is how to stand my ground. If someone's trying to badger me to lower my price because they don't have enough, or I don't have enough and you gave this one to someone for free, you should give this to me for free. And all that kind of stuff. I feel like I've really strengthened my ability to hold my ground, say this is my prices, this is what I'm doing, this is what I can offer you, but I'm not going to do that.
That's good for you. That's the kind of stuff that makes me cringe. Like I just can't. And I know, and again, I know I'm in a different financial situation, and I get that. But like, I often worry that y'all don't charge enough, like all of you, like because, and again, your prices are your prices, and if you feel that it's fair and equitable, it's fine. But like, Painted and I have had a lot of discussions about this. Like, she can tell you, like, a lot.
A lot.
Yes, where she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm charging too much," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's not charging enough," and and because again, like, time is money, right? Time is money. You're all skilled professionals, all of you, and people have to understand that. And I get that they're in the situation, they want something but they can't afford it. But as people, as you do commissions, folks, you have to think about this. If you walked into a big box store and you're looking at something in the store, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're $4 short and you go to the counter like, I'm $4 short, can you just lower the price on this for me? 99.9% of the time, they're not going to do it. Maybe if it's a local small store, it might happen, but it's not going to happen. Respect an artist's price, respect their time and the value of it. And certainly don't try to tell them it's good exposure.
If I can't buy something with exposure, then I don't want it.
If I can't pay my bills with exposure, fuck off.
As
Yes,
Runic,
the 3.5 exposure, please.
as Runic has said multiple times, exposure kills.
Radiation.
Okay, I've got a quick one since we are coming to the close here. Rosby, do you have a preferred time of day for drawing, and if so, why?
So, Crystal
clear.
and Ansel are weird morning people, and they go to bed at very early times, and I don't understand that, and I can't do it. I'm a night person, so nighttime, so.
We only go to bed at 9:30. It's not that early.
That's when my grandparents go to bed.
Yeah, well, Sonny, sit down and shut up.
That's right.
Malu.
Used to be nighttime, but since I've actually been trying to make myself a morning person, it's usually like early afternoon into late afternoon is when I start doing most of my drawing.
Rami, do you have a particular time of day for drawing?
It used to be very, very late at night, like from 1 o'clock until 5. But since I'm living with my boyfriend, I'm kind of forced to just spread it all over the day until I think 12 o'clock or something.
What is with you artists and staying up so late? Doe,
Yeah.
please tell me you have a normal sleep cycle.
That's enough.
Perfect.
No.
I am both a morning person and a night person.
Do
It
they
has
just
to do
blend
with,
together
like-
for you?
It has to do with waking up at 6 every day to go to school, because I'm at school for 14 hours a day during the semester sometimes. And wake up early, get home late. So that kind of molded, even during summer, I do pretty much the same thing because that's just how my body is used to waking up and going to sleep. So sometimes it also depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm in the mood to draw and I wake up in the morning and it's early, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to draw now. Or if it's late and I'm like, I really want to work on this thing, I'll work on that. And it's just kind of spread out throughout the day, but also includes very early and very late, apparently. I don't.
That's
Swear to
okay.
God.
I guess I just don't sleep more than a little bit.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, that's going to be the last question. I want to thank everybody that submitted so many questions. We had just overwhelming support and some really excellent ones, and thank you. And if we didn't ask your question, it wasn't because we weren't interested. It's just we are out of time.
We
limit
don't
here.
like you.
I also want to thank our
Yeah, tell them
artists
that.
so very much for coming out today and making everybody smile and sharing your wisdom and everything. So what we're going to do here before we wrap it up, if you would like, I would like you to plug something of yours so that maybe you can drum up some additional business if you want. So if we're starting with Rosby, why don't you plug something and we'll go on down the line.
I would like to plug all of these other artists. Does that count?
Aw,
That counts.
that's so sweet.
Because like most of my art is not safe for work, and so
Yeah, you can't really link it. We know. You can hit Rosby on the PM for his back alley deals.
lots of smut.
Okay, Nolly, would you like to plug something of yours?
I think I already did that yesterday, so I'm actually just going to take a pass aside from mentioning that I have an art special going on right now, which you can peek out on DeviantArt if you want to.
All right, Rami?
Yeah, I can be found on DeviantArt. My commissions are currently closed. I'm not really working on a big project, so I'll.
Nope, we
For
lost
now.
you last.
Oh, sorry. I'll just send my link, and that's all I can do for now because I don't really have a particular project I'm working on or anything.
Okay, and Doe?
I am currently working on opening up my commissions. They're not publicly open on my DA yet, but I am accepting some before I do open them with an announcing journal. And so those are opening up. I don't really have anything particular to link in, but yeah.
That's okay. All right. Well, again, y'all, thank you. You brighten our day, certainly. Really
Mango is
enjoyed
so
it.
excited that she's chewing on her box.
Yep, Mango has activated and is now chewing her box. So you're welcome to stay. If people had, polite questions, please, remember to be respectful. If you want to put them in text, and maybe our artists will answer them. Maybe they won't. Maybe they're going to go do their own thing. I need a snack because I'm getting a little woozy. And but yes, thank you so much for coming, everybody. And that was the July live event. It was a really good time. We hope to see many, many, many of you all in person at BronyCon next month. We will be there. Many of the names you see here will be there. And of course, we will be doing 4 different official events that when I say official, I mean QUB official, not BronyCon official. And that's going to be it, other than the fact that I'm going to announce that Mango has discovered that there is a closet next to her play perch, and now she is fascinated by it and is trying to open the door so that she can crawl inside. Stop it. So, thank you, everybody.